Alright guys, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. So let's talk a little bit about the Summer Wells case. And before I do that, thank you to all my subscribers, members, everybody just watches the videos. Best way to support me is just watch the video all the way through. Go back and watch some of my other videos. So I told you that I had some juicy information for you on the Summer Wells case. And that I do. This may reassure everybody, but law enforcement is still actively looking into Summer's case, investigating it. So I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Now we're probably coming up on we're probably coming up on an important crossroads to this investigation right here, and that would be that the time frame that the boys have been in CPS custody. You know, people were saying 18 months is probably maybe the max that CPS will give them to get everything in order to get the boys back. But it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as just them getting everything into order. You know, like let's say if they have to take let's say if Dawn had to take alcohol classes, let's say if they had to take drug and alcohol classes, anger management classes, whatever else the court tells them to take. Well, it's just not as simple as taking those classes. The judge has to look at it like this. Okay, you've had a year and a half to do this stuff. During that, you've already went to jail. One of you has went to jail for a DUI. So the judge has to take a look, because this is a liability issue now. It's getting to be a liability, because if they get the boys back and something happens, then you're looking at a liability issue with CPS, and you know, the judge making a bad decision to, you know, so the judge and CPS have a lot to weigh right now, because you know just like somebody coming up on a parole hearing. Why would you all of a sudden start doing good 6 months in prison before your parole hearing, but all these, the other 9.5 years, you've done nothing but been a pain in our asses? Why now, when it's getting close to your parole hearing, are you trying to straighten up? Is it a show? So the judge, if they've waited from the beginning of all this to here recently, because they probably don't have too much time. Everybody's talking 18 months that knows a thing or two about CPS. So they're coming up on that, guys. They're coming up on that real quick. So the judge and CPS, they've got a big decision to make, real big decision, and it's just not as easy as Dawn and Candace being sober, because they may be sober today, but 6 months later, what if they're not and something happens to the boys? You see what I'm saying? Or one of the boys. there's just a lot of variables involved here, and you know, if they are sober, proud of them. You know what I mean? If you know, because we heard back during all this, we heard you know, supposedly that they were tested by CPS or whoever, and you know, they found drugs in their system. So if they're clean of drugs and sober, you know, good for them. Good for them. But it's just not as simple as that. I mean, the court has to weigh the risks. Okay, how long have they actually been clean? When did they start, you know, have they been drug tested periodically during this whole time? You know, have they failed any drug tests? There's just a lot of variables that the judge and CPS has to look at before just saying, okay, well, you've done this, 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 and this, you can get the boys back. You know, it's just not that easy. So I wanted to tell you that. That was on my mind. Because there's a lot of people out there thinking, well, you know, that if they do this, you know, why can't they get them back? Well, it's just not that easy. It's just not that easy, because it's, you know, and you still have a sibling that's missing under suspicious circumstances. And there could be, you know, that could be a deciding factor on whether they get the boys back or not too. I didn't even think about that. That's probably one of the biggest, but I didn't even think about that. But yeah, they are actively looking at things, certain things, and working the investigation, I guess, like they should. So I guess this is your I guess you could take this as your Summer Wells update, I guess. So just to let you guys know, they are still actively working the case, and I would say probably making some headway, but you know, there's still probably still some, in my opinion, some stuff that they got to get out of the way before they move on to maybe the next step, if you will. So let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. Comment below if you've heard any information on Don or Candace, how they're doing, you know, anything like that. Let me know what you think about my opinion and my thoughts on it being more than just doing what CPS asked them to do as far as like any classes or whatever. Let me know what you think about my opinion on it being a big liability issue for the judge and CPS. Do you think it's a big liability issue? Them getting the boys back. Will they be, when they get the boys back, if they get them back, what kind of monitoring will take place, if any? I don't know if CPS monitors families after they reunite them. So if you know anything about that, let me know about that. Would love to hear about it. Because guys, this is uncharted waters. So we're all, you know, not unless you've experienced this before or an experienced CPS worker or someone like that, then you've been through it. But you know, for us that's you know, just getting our feet wet in this kind of investigation and scenario, it's a learning process. So, and we're going to be right and we're going to be wrong. So, but let me know what you think, guys, and drop some comments below. I'll see you on the next video. Y'all take care.